That's a pretty intro. Hey everyone, Tony Winston here at Jazz Piano College, looking at the song Dindi, I think it's pronounced Gingy or something like that, by Antonio Carlos Jobim. Yes, got to get those pronunciations right, lest we offend the jazz gods. Okay, it's got a beautiful intro. There are two charts. One's in the old Real Book 2, I think, and then this one's in the new Real Book 1. And I think I'll use this one with new Real Book 1 because it's got the intro here, which is just some beautiful major seventh chords. And folks, I would like to dedicate this video to Olivia, who has been very supportive of the channel lately and making some great requests, mostly of these Latin songs by Jobim. So thank you, Olivia. And thank you, everyone, for all the support and the kind words that you put in the comments. I really appreciate it, and it keeps me going. We can use those Berklee College of Music formulas to play these. Root fifth, and if the third is the melody note, you go 3, 7, 3. These open voicings leave lots of room to add other color tones, such as the 13. You can call it the 6th if you want, but you would be wrong. Because of once you have a 7th, those other ones, you know. Anyway, add that. Another thing, you could add the 9th. Beautiful chords. And then we've got a little 1, 6, 2, 5. And, you know, I don't know why I do this all the time, but when you're in the key of C and you put your thumb down on these notes, you always get a nice little sound. So just 4 bars at a time to try to escape the copyright police. Here we go. It says slow bossa. So I'm going to do this, or at least that. Okay, that was 5 bars. And, you know, when you're doing this, what they call alternating bass, where you go between the root and the 5th, you know, you don't have enough of the chord there to really identify what chord it is. So you have to fill it in with your right hand. So I'm playing the melody note. I've got the root down there, 7th and the 3rd. And why not add the 9th to a lovely E flat major 7th chord. And there I see I added some notes there too. And you know, you want to kind of get your rhythm going between your left and your right hand there while you're holding these long notes in the melody. Beautiful chord here, A flat minor with a major 7th, and that is one of the 9 basic chords. It's certainly not one of the most common ones, but it's just a minor triad with a major 7th. You know, it's like the James Bond chord. They use it in spy movies all the time. And in a way, it's kind of like moving to the 4 chord, which you could certainly do there. It's really the same thing. And then back to E flat. And you could still think of this as a major 7th, but because that melody is right there, that's why they wrote it as a 6th. And this is what jazz musicians typically do. You know, if the melody is the root there and it's a major 7th chord, they just change it to a major 6th chord to keep the melody more clear and free and clear. And then instead of a dominant chord, we have just a minor chord. And this is really typical of this style of music. In fact, it could even just go down to D flat there because you see, it's very closely related to B flat minor. Okay, the 2nd to 8 looks like the same kind of thing. So I'll talk a little bit about improv over this section. Major 7th chord. Use the major scale if it's a major 7th chord of the key that you're in. Now, there are several other major 7th chords that are likely to occur, and D flat being one of them. You want to use not the D flat scale, which would have that, but you make that one little alteration there, and then the rest of the scale is like D flat. So D flat major scale is this, but we're going to change one note. And you see that is a note in common with the E flat major. So that's called the Lydian mode, by the way. In fact, it's almost like you're still just staying on an E flat scale. However, the E flat scale then would have this flat 7 in it. But, like I've said so many times before, there are usually a half a dozen ways to think about the same concept. Especially when you go to tritone substitutions, you can think left, you can think right, you can think other ways too. So I prefer to think left myself, but think about it the way that is most clear to you. I was thinking about James Bond. That reminds me of a song. It says, "You only live twice. You only live twice." I think that's it. Okay. I don't know why these songs pop in my head. And then, now our transition into the bridge, and it's on the 2nd page here, unfortunately. So, and this is really a common thing. You go down a tritone to A, play a minor 7 flat 5, which is kind of a substitute for the E flat chord, believe it or not. And then, that sets up a minor 2-5-1. All right, so you got A minor flat 5, and probably a nice sharp 9 chord. Any kind of unaltered chord would be good. And then we're into our thing. And, you could come up with some kind of transition like that. And all I'm trying to do is go down this scale and come up some other scale, an E flat scale. Now, I think this bridge is very interesting. So the other chart has like E flat minor to A flat 7th. This chart is a little simpler, and I think it's better. Goes to the E flat minor 6 instead of this one. Now, if you think about E flat minor 6, it is the A flat 7th, like in the other chart. Also, one of my favorite little ways to reharmonize a very typical progression, and it's the Stairway to Heaven progression. Where you're going down like this. I like, on the first chord here going down, I like to raise the 5th like this. And that's kind of exactly what happens here. And an interesting thing about this chord is you could consider it a D altered dominant. So, the progression really in its simplest terms is just the 1 chord, we're in a minor key now, G minor, and the 5 chord, the dominant chord that leads you to G minor, and using a little bit of the harmonic minor scale there. So, and I'll bet there's a recording out there that just does that. But it's nicer with the E flat minor 6 without that D there. Same thing here, really. I'm stuck on these two-finger runs. What am I thinking of there? Oh, there's a classical piece in my mind here. Oh, I know what it is. It's Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet. That's what it is. If I can come up with the clip of that, I'll put it in there.